Happy Easter! Guys, it was just one clump. That makes me sad, but that's okay. Happy Easter from the Clubhouse. I am so excited to celebrate Easter with you guys today. I know that it's a bummer that we can't be together, but Jesus is still alive, and that is so worth celebrating. This month, we have been turning things upside down because Jesus changes everything. He turned everything upside down when he came to earth to die on the cross. Jesus is God's son, and he didn't have to do that. He is the ultimate example of humility. Humility is putting others first by giving up what you think you deserve. If you were here with us last week, then you know that the religious leaders had tried over and over again to silence Jesus. Jesus really challenged the things that they had always believed and the way that they chose to live their lives, and they did not care for that. One of Jesus' closest friends, Judas, had a plan. He came to them and told them that he would tell them where Jesus was going to be after the Passover meal in exchange for some money. While Jesus was praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, the religious leaders sent a mob of people to arrest Jesus, including some soldiers. They arrested Jesus, and he didn't fight them. While this was happening, Jesus' closest friends scattered. Many of them ran away and hid. The soldiers and this big group of people took Jesus to the high priest. In the courtyard with the high priest had a lot of questions for Jesus about him, his teachings, and the people that followed him. We're going to read what Jesus said to this high priest. We're going to be in John chapter 18, and we're going to read verses 20 and 21. This is what Jesus had to say in response to the high priest. "I have spoken openly to the world," Jesus replied. "I have always taught in synagogues or at the temple where all the Jews come together. I didn't say anything in secret. Why question me? Ask the people who heard me. They certainly know what I said." The high priest decided that Jesus needed to be questioned even more and that the mob needed to take him to the governor of Rome, whose name was Pilate. Pilate questioned the religious leaders and why they brought Jesus to him. The religious leaders claimed that Jesus had committed crimes. Why else would they bring him forward? Pilate and the religious leaders argued back and forth until finally Pilate pulled Jesus inside and questioned him himself. He went back out to the crowd and he told the crowd that he saw no reason to arrest Jesus. He offered to set Jesus free as part of a Passover tradition, but the crowd disagreed. They said that Jesus should not be freed. So Pilate took Jesus and had him whipped. The soldiers put a crown of thorns on his head and a purple robe on him. Pilate brought Jesus back out to the crowd again, saying that he had no reason to keep Jesus. The crowd cheered, "Crucify him." So the soldiers took Jesus. They made him drag his own cross up to Golgotha, which was a hill outside the city. Pilate had no choice but to give up. I think even if he had tried even more, that Jesus would have still gone through with God's plan because he knew it was that important. The soldiers nailed Jesus to the cross and raised him up. They put a sign above him that said, "Jesus, King of the Jews." Jesus' mother, Mary, her sister, and Mary Magdalene were there. Jesus, hanging on the cross, called down to John and asked John to take care of his mother. Jesus hung on the cross until he knew it was his time. He uttered his last words, "It is finished." He bowed his head and died. After Jesus died, 2 men took his body to be buried. Their names were Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus. Mary Magdalene followed from a distance as the 2 men placed Jesus' body in a tomb. They rolled this giant stone in front of the tomb to make sure that no one could come in or out. Early on Sunday morning, Mary went to visit the tomb. She knew that Jesus had been buried in a hurry, and it was really important to her to make sure that he had a proper burial. But wait, the stone had been rolled away and the tomb was empty. She ran back to the house where the disciples were staying, and she told Peter and John that the tomb was empty and that someone must have done something with Jesus' body. They take off running back to the tomb. Peter and John get there. They see the empty tomb and the linen that Jesus was wrapped up in. But Jesus wasn't there. They go back to the house trying to make sense of what they had just seen. Mary, upset and crying, stayed behind by the tomb. She saw something in the tomb, and she looked in and she saw two angels sitting where Jesus' body had been laid. They asked her, "Why are you crying?" We're going to see what she had to say. This is in John chapter 20, verse 13. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said. "I don't know where they have put him." Mary turned and saw someone, and she thought it was the gardener. She pleaded with the man, "Please tell me what they have done with Jesus." The man turned around and said, "Mary." She knew right away, just by the sound of his voice, that it was Jesus. She cried out, "Teacher." She immediately ran back to the disciples to tell them the best possible news, that Jesus was alive. It cost Jesus everything to put us first. He died so that we could live forever with God. You see, God is perfect, but we're not. We mess up, we sin, and that sin separates us from God. Ever since sin entered the world, it has always been our biggest problem. But God, he always had a plan to bring his people back to him. He doesn't want anything to separate us from him and from his love. Jesus put us first by paying the ultimate price, by dying for all the bad things that we have done so that we could live forever with him. See, Jesus knows your name the same way he knew Mary Magdalene. And I know that he's got such amazing things in store for you. I'm so excited to see what God continues to do in your life. Even though we can't be together today, that shouldn't stop us from praising Jesus and all that he has done for us. Let's pray. God, we come before you so thankful that you were willing to lay down your life so that we could live forever with God. God, we're so thankful that you didn't stay dead, that you rose from the grave to prove once and for all that you really are the Son of God. In your name we pray. Amen. I hope you guys can remember that Jesus put us first. For our Bible story image today, what we're going to hang on the wall, we have the empty tomb. I want you guys to see this and to remember what Jesus did for us. Not to make us feel bad that he would do that for us, but so that we would have life and joy everlasting in him. That we can remember that no matter what is going on in our lives or in the world around us, that we can trust God, that we can trust Jesus, and that we never have to be afraid because he is with us. I have a special treat for you guys this week. I told you last week that I knew for a fact I was not the only one that missed being with you every Sunday. Your small group leaders are really missing you. They miss leading important conversations with you, but they also miss just playing with you. So this week, I have two small group leaders that are going to play a game that we would usually play all together. Since we can't do that, they have graciously offered to play the game for us. Our first small group leader is Tim. Tim teaches our 5th grade small group. The other leader is Chad, and Chad teaches our 3rd through 5th grade Sunday school every week. So here's how the game is going to work. Chad and Tim are going to stand on opposite sides of one line. There are Easter eggs all around them, and their goal is to get as many eggs as possible from their side of the line to the other side. At the end of 45 seconds, whoever has the least amount of eggs on their side wins. I know I had so much fun watching them. I hope that you have fun too. Let's see what happens.
All right, so you have 45 seconds to get as many eggs on the opposite side as possible. If it's close, we'll do another round. So, pace yourself. Don't gas out on us. All right, on your mark, get set, go!
I hope you guys had a blast watching Tim and Chad battle it out. I thought it was hilarious, especially their little warm-ups they did. So now that we've kind of had some fun, I would like you guys to take some time and talk about our Bible story as a family. Instead of me telling you what to do, I'm going to put it on the screen so that way you guys know exactly what to do and you don't have to try to re-listen to the instructions. I love you guys and I hope you have a fantastic day celebrating Jesus.